Say you have a covered call. You want to roll it up and out, but nothing in the stock's current option chain will work for you. How do you know when new call options will become available? Understanding option cycles is a good start. Here's some questions I've had over the years of my option selling. When do new options come out? When are they released? Why do different stocks have a different mix of weekly, monthly, and leap options? Why do they skip some months? What about weeklies, monthlies, and leaps? When do new leap options come out? And what leap expirations will be available? Let's skim over some abstract information related to these questions. Then we'll apply this information to a few stocks to project when their new options will be available. We won't be able to precisely explain and predict everything, like why does AMD have 3 leaps in 2026 and Meta only has 2? But that's okay. Mysteries like this keep life interesting. We'll find some answers at the OIC website, linked in the description. OIC stands for Options Industry Council. I'll skim over some material here about option cycles and related topics. Then we'll go over 3 real-world examples of option chains. I'm watching these chains and waiting on new expiration dates to be released. First, we'll take a look at EverQuote, symbol EVER. It's a small cap with a small option chain, just a few monthlies and no weeklies or leaps. Then we'll look at Meta and AMD, big liquid large cap option chains with weeklies, monthlies, and leaps. We'll make some well-informed, systematic guesses on what new options will come out and when, according to the rules of option cycles. And then we'll make some wild guesses outside of the cycle. So let's go learn about option cycles. But first, please consider liking and subscribing if you're enjoying this content. What's an option cycle? Here's a table showing the quarterly, monthly option cycles. I've linked this page in the description. Every stock on the major exchanges that has options will follow one of these cycles. Cycle 1, Cycle 2, Cycle 3. In a minute, we'll take a look at examples. You can count on a stock having at least 4 monthly options available, 2 near-term months, and 2 months from their cycle in this table. Here's a table showing what months are guaranteed to be available at the start of the year. And there may be more depending on the popularity of the option chain. A new month will become available the day prior to the expiration of an existing month. Exchanges are allowed to list additional months for popular option chains, but as far as I know, it's not carved in stone when these additional months are released or what will be available. My guess is they follow the existing pattern and they're released a day before a monthly expires, and the pattern could change depending on the chain's popularity. Now, what about weeklies? This page is linked in the description. Weekly option series are listed on a Thursday, and in most cases expire the following Friday. Here's another page about weeklies, linked in the description. Option exchanges can and frequently do list options that are approximately 1 to 5 weeks to expiration following their initial listing, for popular option series like those on AMD and Meta. But you can't count on weeklies being there unless the series is on a popular option chain. A little off topic, but here's a neat trick. You can paste a URL like this into your browser, changing the symbol to your stock, and it will download a text file showing you the stock's current option chain and all the exchanges it's listed on. It's linked in the description. Now let's talk about long-term options, or leaps. I'm pretty sure new leaps come out each September, and my best guess on what leaps will be available is to look at what leaps are available now in the furthest year. I'm assuming the 2027 leaps will become available sometime during the second week of September 2024, just like last year's 2026 leaps. I found a little more information on this page, linked in the description, over here to the right, but nothing to really hang your hat on. But if you download the 2024 expiration calendar here, you can see that the 2027 leaps will be added September 16th. Now let's get pragmatic and anecdotal, as promised. Let's see if we can use the information from the OIC website to predict when new call options will come out for a few examples. First, we'll look at a lightly traded small cap, EverQuote. As you can see, EverQuote only has monthlies, and right now only has the minimum 4 months defined by the cycle. I happen to know it had 5 months for a while before the recent March expiration. So that implies sometimes the monthlies come out early before the minimum requirement for Ever. We can see that Ever is on cycle 3, the March, June, September, December cycle. So I believe December will come out a day before the June expiration, and maybe sooner. I'm watching its chain every time a monthly expiration happens because I have some covered calls on it. I may want to roll up and out to December when those options are released. Also, a day before April expires, I believe we can count on July coming out. So it will continue to have the 2 nearest months, not counting its cycle months. For big caps like Meta and AMD, we'll just observe what weeklies, monthlies, and leaps are available and see if we can use that to predict the future. There will be many more option expirations than required by the option cycle for these big caps, and new expirations will come out more frequently. This could be an opportunity for someone to make and train an AI model to predict when new options will become available for large caps. Any volunteers? So let's start by seeing how many weeklies Meta has. This one, this one, this one. This one's a monthly, and that's a weekly, and that's a weekly, and then monthlies. So it's got 5 weeklies. The rest are all monthlies. For the monthlies, we have every month of the current year, 2024. Then we have 5 leaps in 2025 and 2 leaps in 2026. It's hard to know what cycle Meta is on unless there's some relationship between its leap and option cycle, which I'm not aware of. But it doesn't really matter. All cycles are covered. AMD is similar to Meta. It's got the 5 weeklies, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and all months in the current year, just like Meta. But then, kind of a strange mix in 2025 where it's got January and nothing until June, and then several months later in the year. And then it has 3 leaps in 2026 instead of 2 like Meta. So for big liquid stocks like AMD and Meta, you're going to have a lot more options available. It's going to be a little harder to predict what will be available and when, but they'll be released more frequently. It looks like you continuously count on the next 5 weeklies and all monthlies in the current year for stocks like Meta and AMD. I'm guessing that when new leaps for 2027 become available on September 16th, 2024, that Meta will get a couple new ones, maybe in January and June of 2027, just like last year's 2026 leaps. And AMD may get the same 3 leaps, January, June, and December of 2027, but this is a wild guess. We'll see. Perhaps more leap months will become available in 2025 and 2026 as well. We'll see September 16th. And that's a wrap. I hope this helped you better understand option cycles and made you better prepared for recognizing when new options come out. If you enjoyed this content, please consider liking and subscribing. Also, let me know what you think. Are you watching for when new options come out? Do you know of a source that lists what's coming out and when? I really appreciate any feedback or comments. I'm not a financial advisor. This wasn't financial advice. Just some guy sharing some information about option cycles and when options are released. Have a profitable day.